Today, the first person talking will be Richard Lofthouse. Richard's a Managing Director of Catalano Shipping Indonesia and the Regional Coordinator for Catalano Shipping Asia Pacific, with offices in Singapore, Indonesia, and New Zealand. Richard established Indonesia's first super yacht agency in 2008 and was there to look after big yachts when they arrived in this uncharted territory. Richard, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Susie. And thank you, Nigel. Thank you, APSA, for putting this together. It's absolutely fantastic. And I'm thrilled to be here with my esteemed colleagues. And I think there'll be a lot of very, very good stuff that'll come out of it. So in terms of Southeast Asia in general, which is what I've been asked to highlight before the other guys get into the details country by country. Obviously, we don't want to mention the C word COVID too much, but in reference to that, what we have seen is a very disrupted flow as to what we expected, myself and certainly my partners around the world. What we were betting on really was between the Olympics in Tokyo and America's Cup in New Zealand, that there would be a lot of activity centered around those two activities there, and a lot of influx coming from those two major events. Well, Tokyo, as we know, didn't happen, and America's Cup is happening, but at a far reduced capacity to what we initially anticipated. So in many ways, it's just changed the dynamics of how we saw the next few years going in Southeast Asia. But on the flip side of that, I think it's fair to say that Southeast Asia, it appears to us, is the market that will emerge the most strongly out of all of this. And I think, to a point, that's already starting to happen. Just to break it down, I mean, surprisingly, and I don't think either Andy or myself have ever made the statement that in the last 6 months or so, Indonesia has actually been the easiest and best place for yachts to come into. And I don't think that's generally a statement that we tend to make, but just whether by design or mistake, we're not entirely sure, but the visa process became very, very easy. We were able to apply for visas. And then when people arrived, whether by seaport or airport, there was no quarantine as long as the PCR test was within 7 days. So, Indonesia has certainly been the best show in town over the last 6 months or so. And I know that, Andy and myself have got, a full marina at the moment, and we're very, very lucky that we're in that position. So, Indonesia's already presented fairly well and has kind of shown what's possible. And, that's a very positive way to sort of start to get the wheels rolling again in the region. Singapore, has never shut and has sort of remained as a key hub throughout this whole time. And even though, I mean, I'm sure Scotty will highlight, it has not been an easy time to be an agent in Singapore. It's been huge amounts of legislation and regulation and everything else. It's been a little bit tricky to navigate it, but I think Singapore's managed to at least remain open and remain in control of their seaport while remaining open, which has been pretty positive. So, Singapore has kind of managed to hold a little bit of momentum, which is good throughout the whole thing. Then we've got Thailand, which is just starting to re-emerge. And I know Gordon's bringing boats in again, which is fantastic. Thailand, Phuket is a really key hub for Southeast Asia. It's the draw card that brings people across the Indian Ocean. And, you know, it's really key that Thailand begins to re-emerge again, as it appears, you know, it appears that they will. So, you know, that's the progress there. Basically, that, you know, the big four being Thailand, Singapore, and sorry, big three is Thailand, Singapore, and Indonesia, really, which are the three big draw cards for Southeast Asia, you know, are all showing fairly positive signs, and that's a very good thing. Langkawi and Malaysia, Borneo are sort of stuck in a kind of paralysis at the moment, and it's kind of hard to get a read on what's going on there. There's a few boats that are sitting there, but it really, it's not that clear whether they're prepared to move forward. So, you know, I think it will be, you know, Thailand as it's coming off season, and Singapore will continue, and then Indonesia, you know, as we move through the year, we're expecting that, you know, we'll draw a fair bit of traffic to the area. I mean, I think, you know, Southeast Asia has kind of been sandwiched throughout the last 12 months between the two hotspots of Maldives on the left and Tahiti/New Zealand on the right. And Tahiti and the Maldives have pulled an awful lot of business in, and there's a lot of boats that have come to those two areas. And they're about at the point now of wondering, well, what do we do next? And, you know, Southeast Asia obviously being sandwiched between those two, we're still expecting the region to, you know, have a pretty good influx of boats coming in. So, you know, overall, I mean, the outlook for Southeast Asia remains very positive. We're very positive. The other side, of course, of all of that with the visiting yachts coming through is that during this period, the phenomenal, you know, brokerage results that have been going on, particularly in places like Hong Kong, has meant that there's a lot more locally owned yachts around the place now. We're seeing a lot more of that, and there'll definitely be a trickle-down effect with some of them as they begin to, you know, push out beyond their, you know, their current positions. I think, you know, that amount of local owners who want to explore the region is definitely increasing, and has increased during this last 12-month period, which is incredibly positive. So yeah, you know, between that and the amount of yachts that are looking for options in this part of the world, I think, you know, we can all look forward to a pretty good upswing for Southeast Asia once the various governments kind of get a strategy together and work things out, and you know, look at what is possible rather than just sort of trying to keep the door bolted shut. But it would appear that we're not too far away from that now. So, you know, it's very positive signs of re-emergence, and let's hope we can see out 2021 as a very good year throughout the region.